yield 3 minutes to the chief sponsor of this legislation, Representative Bass.
The gentlelady from California is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. 30 years ago today, Rodney King was viciously beaten by police officers in Los Angeles. It would be the first time the world would witness what African Americans had been organizing, marching, and trying to change for over 100 years. Personally, I was hopeful that once everyone saw what happens in Black communities, that policing in America would change. I was certain no one would deny what they saw with their own eyes, and the officers would be convicted. They were acquitted. Some were even hired by other police departments. The sad truth was, when people told their stories of abuse or even murder at the hands of police officers, they were simply not believed. The story was always the same. I was in fear of my life. I thought they had a gun. The person was resisting arrest. The individual attempted to assault me. That is all that was needed for the beating or murder to be discounted, dismissed, and the individual's lives had little value. Even children. These are children here. This is an 8-year-old, a 10-year-old, a mother, and another child placed on the ground because the mother was suspected of stealing a car. Several years after Rodney King's beating, cell phone cameras were invented. It has taken technology and active citizen involvement to document and expose this reality. And now there are many tapes, many examples of individuals beat, shot, and killed by officers, and yet transformation of policing in America has still not happened. Passing the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act will be a critical first step, just the first step, to transform policing in America. The bill raises the standards for policing and holds those officers accountable who fail to uphold the ethic of protecting and serving their communities. Now, I know that change is difficult, but I am certain that police officers who risk their lives every day are concerned about their profession, and they don't want to work in an environment where they are chastised for intervening when they see a fellow officer abuse a citizen or use deadly force when it is not necessary. And I am certain that police officers want to make sure that they are trained in the best practices in policing. To support officers, this legislation will create the first ever national accreditation standards for the operation of police departments, set national standards for officers, and establish best practices in training, hiring, de-escalation strategies, and bystander duty. For example, if officers had better training, maybe they would understand that just because someone can verbally express, "I can't breathe," does not mean they are faking, and the officer can continue to press on the person's chest, back, or neck. And despite our best intentions, there will be some officers who cross over the line. That is why this bill also includes strong accountability measures, both as a matter of simple justice and to keep unfit officers off the street. A profession where you have the power to kill should be a profession that requires highly trained officers who are accountable to the public. That is what this bill accomplishes. Police officers are the first to say it is unfair that they are not trained to be social workers or healthcare providers. Homelessness, mental illness.
The gentlelady's time has expired.
Mr. Speaker, I yield the gentlelady 15 seconds.
The gentlelady, 15 seconds is.
The Justice and Policing Act reinvests in our communities. If this legislation had been the law of the land several years ago, Eric Garner and George Floyd would be allowed today because the bill bans chokeholds. If the bill had been law last year, Breonna Taylor would have not been shot to death in her sleep because no-knock warrants for drug offenses would have been illegal. And if a national registry had been in effect, it would have been revealed that the officer who killed 12-year-old Tamir Rice. I urge all of my colleagues to support the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act.
The gentlelady reserves.